Well, we appreciate everyone being here. We thought that we would take advantage of the latest release of the Alabama Accountability Act scores to take this opportunity to explain that in Mobile County, what we are doing, and we're working in conjunction to sort of initiate this throughout the state of Alabama. It's called Redefining Ready. The test scores that the Alabama Accountability Act scores are identified with was in grades 3 through 10, the ACT Aspire test. That test has been discontinued. Now another test is given in grades 3 through 8, the not Scholastic, but the Scantron test. And in grade 11, the test that will determine the progress of students is the ACT Aspire, which is given to all 11th graders. But what we wanted to say about this is that in light of the schools being identified as Alabama Accountability Act schools, we call them AAA schools, is that we realize our students are more than one test score. And we wanted to share that today. Mr. Wood, the principal here at Blount High School, and also his students will share with you some of the specifics on that. But redefining ready is important to us because in Mobile County, as you know, we have been working in feeder patterns, elementary to middle to high school, culminating in signature academies that students can then prepare for the world of work or to enter into college. We say in Mobile County that we have 6 R's, that's reading, writing, arithmetic, which are the core content subjects, but that all of our subjects are taught at a rigorous level, which is the next R, that we build the relevance to why you need to get a high school diploma and do well academically, which is the next R, rigor, and that we build it through relationships, through business, industry, and higher ed being involved in our schools. What we're now getting are results that are very meaningful other than just one test score that is given at one period during the academic year. But our students are really talented, innovative, creative, and smart. And so they are meeting not only the academic standards, but also the graduation rates have risen, and also we then have our students who have to benchmark and who we want to benchmark on college and career ready standards. So here at Blount High School, which is one of the schools that came out on the list, we wanted to share what it means to be multidimensional and really prepared to move on to the next stage of life after high school. Blount High School today has a 90% graduation rate, and that's as it stood today on the state website. Also, Blount High School has 83% of the students today for this school year who have earned a college and career readiness credential. Now, that gap will narrow as the school year goes on because we still have another semester to go. What it means to have a college and career readiness credential means that the students have either benchmarked on one portion of the ACT, they have made a qualifying score either on the AP exam or IB exams. They have earned a workforce credential, which is a very rigorous standard that must be met. They have been accepted into the military, or they have earned a dual college enrollment credit. So you don't measure that with one test score. Also, our students are involved in internships, interviews, they go through an interview process with business and industry leaders, and they're out there really learning what they want to do with the next step in life. So when we look at Redefining Ready, and if you go on the website, national website, you'll find a lot of information there, but it says indeed that we need to measure student success in multiple ways. And so where we're looking at this as people are going, oh my, a list, we're looking at it as an opportunity to really say, look at our students, look at our schools, see what's being achieved, and join. We want the community, our elected officials, and everyone to join us in redefining ready and using multiple measures of student success. I'll share just one story to show you how this works. I had a cousin who wound up at Spring Hill Memorial Hospital. I think it was the coldest night last week. When I walked in, it was almost like going into a high school reunion, because I was greeted on the first floor as I came in with a certified nursing assistant who had finished school, gone right to work at Spring Hill Hospital. And, hi, Ms. Peak, how are you? Tell me, last year, you remember me, I was a senior, and now I've got a job here. Went on up, there was a student who was working with student transport, the same thing, certified nursing assistant. And then, being an educator, I was lost at the hospital not knowing what to do. And I go out to the desk, and one of our students, who's an RN, a student from Blount High School, met me, took care of what I needed and what is there as an RN in our schools. So all of these students are meeting success out there. And as I said, the one takeaway from this is we're looking at this as an opportunity to say, join us with Redefining Ready. Our students are more than one test score. And right now I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Jerome Wood, the principal of Blount High School.
Could we ask you questions after that?
Yes, I'll come back up.
Great.
Good morning, everybody. Happy that you guys are here. Always welcome at Blount High School. As Ms. Peak said, we're here to talk about some of the situations that have come up with the test scores through the Alabama State Department of Ed. And I agree with Ms. Peak that the Blount High School students, and I can only speak about those students, are much more than one test score. Obviously, we're doing so many things in the right way, in the positive way, that we always take the opportunity to be able to talk about our kids who are out there doing things. Ms. Peak mentioned to you what our on-time graduation rate is, which is 90%. 83% of those kids have a college and career readiness standard. When that happens, you kind of reject the notion that you or someone would think that you're failing school. At the same time, I know that test scores are important, so just want to make sure that everyone knows that we're working extremely hard through our curriculum to make sure that our kids are prepared for the future testing scenarios. Our testing scenarios this year have gone very well. We're posting some of the highest scores in the district on the ASVAB. We're also moving into our readiness stage for ACT testing, which will come up in March. And we have every junior in an ACT prep class. Also, with the thought process that we have some outside help with tutors and the like coming in to help our kids get prepared. Outside of that, just so many things that are happening for our kids extracurricular-wise, boasting one of the best bands in the city, some of the best athletic programs in the city, some of the things that make kids more well-rounded. Obviously, we want to make sure that kids are leaving us ready to go to work and go to college. We are partnered with one of the largest employers in the city of Mobile, which is Mobile Infirmary. You're sitting in our health care lab, which is a world-class facility where our kids get ready to become CNAs, phlebotomists, EMT techs, and the like. And they partner and leave here and go over to infirmary to intern, so that if they're not going to go to school, they can go to work right after they leave school. On the other hand, our other kids who are going to college, it's an enormous rate. They're moving. Our athletes are signing scholarships, 19 Division I kids over the last 3 years. Brianna Harris is a Division I girl basketball signee this year. I think she's the only one in Mobile County Public Schools. And outside of that, we're doing so many great things. It'd take you a long time sitting here with me for me to rattle those off to you. Just wanted to make sure you knew what we were doing. Again, proud of our students. I have a few of them here with you. After you talk to Ms. Peak, you may want to speak with some of them, but I have a few of them who could share their educational experience here. And when you hear from them, you'll know they're being educated the right way. They're the right kind of kids, and we're producing citizens. That's our job, to graduate every kid who comes here college and career ready. Oh, I'm being told that I can introduce you to one. The one I'm going to introduce you to now is our It Starts With Us student for this year. It Starts With Us is obviously the motto for Mobile County. We like to reserve that award for a student who has come in and shown tremendous progress from the first day. I met this student a little while ago, but she's only been in my building since August. She's a ninth grader. She's in the class of 2021. She's a very strong student. We've been through one semester, and she's ranked #1 in that class and already has a 25 on her ACT. And again, I'm going to say she's a ninth grader. Miss Daisy Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. As Mr. Woods said, I'm a ninth grader here at Blount, and right now, I scored a 25 on the ACT as a ninth grader. And all I can say is that's all to Blount. They've put me in ACT prep classes where I sit with my ACT tutor and we go over and over and over all the different subject areas. Also at Blount, it's all about empowerment. Us as black young women and black young men, we get to sit here and talk to you guys. That's an opportunity that's not given everywhere. At Blount, we empower our students. They empower me. And that's what I really, really, really love about Blount. And the stigma that we're failing is just untrue. Because right now, I'm a success. And that's all due to a failing school. Are there any questions you guys have for me?
Could you say, what was it? Was it different from like the other tests that you've taken?
The ACT Aspire is nothing like the ACT. And I can say that from experiences. I've taken the ACT Aspire 4 years and the ACT only once. And I can see that tremendous difference. With the ACT Aspire, there's fill in the blank and a lot of the subject area and the content is different than what was on the ACT. And I was unprepared by taking the ACT Aspire and going and taking the ACT. I was unprepared and I was not ready for it.
What would you tell the Alabama Department of Education, since I mean, people are kind of saying that this ACT Aspire, from what I'm getting from this press conference, is kind of a cookie cutter test. You know, what would you say that they're not, you know, considering that you guys have this multi-dimensional course study? So what would you tell them?
I would tell the Alabama Department that the ACT Aspire did not prepare us for the ACT. And that's the bottom line. The Scantron that we take now, I would say, is better than the ACT Aspire, but I think the only thing that can really prepare you for the ACT is the ACT. So, and every test is different. So you really can't be fully prepared for it because you go into the ACT blind. You don't know what test you're going to take. You don't know what the questions are going to be. But taking the ACT practice test here at Blount prepared me for the ACT and not the ACT Aspire.
You just mentioned the stigma of being called a failing school. With your classmates, is that something that a lot of kids are aware of? Do you think it has an effect on how they view themselves and the school?
Yes, sir. One of the biggest problems that kids around Mobile County have is mentality. And being told that we're a failing school because of one test report puts that upon us. And it brings us down. I mean, when I hear that my school, the school that I love, the school that has made me to be the person that I am standing here in front of you, is failing, that hurts because I'm not a failure and I don't want to be classified as a failure. Now, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any more questions for Ms. Pete?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you come after Daisy and answer any more questions any more sincerely than she did?
So just to clarify, you guys took the ACT Aspire this past April.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what you guys are rated from due to this list.
Right.
Okay, so what are you guys going to be doing to make sure that this test isn't given again and you guys are considered?
Well, December, the former state superintendent reported that the U.S. Department of Education had said that the ACT Aspire did not align with the subject areas, was not well aligned with the subject areas. Following that, the State Board of Education voted to discontinue the use of Aspire. So that was taken care of at the state level. You are required to give an achievement test by the federal government and also state regulations. So that is now the Scantron test, which is given in grades 3 through 8. The grade 10 is not giving an achievement test like they were, like the Aspire. So there will not be a follow-up with grade 10 on that, but what will be compared are the actual ACT scores, which are given to all 11th graders. The thing people need to remember too about the ACT is that it's a predictor of college success. So it's a very rigorous exam, and we work very hard to get our students all to realize the importance of really keying in and doing the best on the test, because it doesn't affect their grades. It's just an overall picture of the progress being made. The tests are important. It gives us data to work on, to know strengths and weaknesses in the curriculum, in instructional practices, in what our students need help on. So we're not discounting the test, and the scores were the scores that came out of that. But what we're saying is there's so much more that needs to be done to show a total picture of what our students are doing.
But even this indicator, do you think that it shows there is a problem? Other schools are getting higher ratings, not failing.
Well, I think it shows areas that we need to work on, and certainly that we have growth that we need to continue to address. I think that you have to look at a variety of factors that come into why some schools have a little bit more difficult time on test than others do. But I think that, yes, we do have a problem that's got to be addressed, and we work on that diligently year after year. When you walk through the halls, you see all the classes that are taking place, you see the prep sessions, you see the intervention and things like that. So it's important. But then what we want people to also look at is the end product, graduating well-prepared citizens to move on to the next stage of their lives. So you may start with a student, look at a score that's low, you put in the interventions, you work on it. Here at Blount High School last year, the percentage of students who were proficient increased by 3%. Statistically, that is really a large increase, but still there's more work to be done to move that on up.
So what needs to be done? What do you think? Like I was just reading through earlier, 7 of these schools were also on last year's failing list.
Yes.
So I'm sure there has been some change that I'd love for you to tell us about, but like what there still needs to be more done.
Well, there still needs to be more done, and we'll continue to do what we have been doing with providing intervention, with providing really meaningful classroom lessons. We also have really worked this year in training our teachers on how to help students from lower socioeconomic levels close that achievement gap, and what special programs we need to have in place at that time. Also, that we're making sure that the instruction in the classroom is targeted to the students. If a student's having problems, we identify that student and we begin working with them at that time. Another issue that we have worked on and will continue to work on, we've got to have students in school every day to teach them. Attendance is an issue, not just in these schools, but across the county, where our students need to be in school each and every day so they do have the advantage of the instructional programs that are taking place.
Are you doing work with parents? I know that the whole problem it's a multitude of people. It's not the student, it's a whole working process.
It is, and we do work with parents. We have parent meetings. We have online grades where parents can go in and look at grades, can monitor what their students are doing and that type of thing. We also provide parenting classes where individuals can come in and participate in a particular subject area and learn how to support the students from home. And so we're doing that. One thing that I say all the time that parents can do, not every parent can be at school every day. Some of them have 2 or 3 jobs, or there may be transportation issues, but parent involvement can be, 1, make sure your child is in school every day. 2, make sure you set the standards from home that your child is going to behave. And 3, that you share with your child the importance of education. And then we're adding to that, make sure that your child understands that when there is a measure of progress, it's important to really focus in and do their best on it.
Do you think your schools will test better with the Scantron test that's coming up?
I think that we are monitoring our schools now. We do see increase. The Scantron is given 3 times during the year. There's an initial screening, there's a mid-year screening, which our schools are finishing now, and then there's a screening at the end of the year. So we are seeing increased progress on the Scantron test, much more aligned to the actual standards that we teach from in the classroom.
And is that what in the future the failing schools will be based off of, is how students perform the Scantron test?
In grades 3 through 8, grade 11 high schools will be on the ACT, the actual ACT. Jason?
As far as the ACT, Daisy just said that she felt the Aspire might have been a little less challenging than the actual ACT. Is that a concern? Because I think I would imagine that's a step up from what the 10th graders did last year.
Right, and it is a concern, and that's why when you walk back through the halls, you'll see ACT prep sessions, you'll see before school and after school prep, and that's to close the gap. One of the other things that we've shared from Mobile County, and believe me, I don't want anybody thinking we're making any excuses. We're not. But when we administered the ACT Aspire online last spring, we do it through technology. 48 of our 62 schools had technical issues where it's a time test, the students are testing. Daisy could have probably spoken to this too, and it would take the program from a minute to 7 minutes to roll to the next question. We worked on that. It was not a Mobile County technical problem, it was an ACT problem. And so we filed reports about that. We're not sure of the data that we're working with or that we had to work with from Aspire was accurate, because if you're there and you're geared up to take a test and you know the clock's ticking, and there's a delay, and then you don't finish the test. So that was something else. So we're very pleased that we're working with Scantron now in grades 3 through 8. Like I said, it's working fine. We're able to monitor the progress. We see progress taking place. We have people in the schools every day who are providing support to the teachers, and also we have a person who is working directly with the principals to make sure everything is supplied and all support is there to move the schools along. Former principal of Callaway Smith Middle School, Mrs. Walton. So, we pull out all the stops every year. Do we have the answers? No. And we offer a lot of school choices where students can transfer to an area of their interest or where they have particular skills and ability. And we want families to have options. I think throughout the state of Alabama, probably nationally, everyone's trying to find that exact answer of what do you do in certain instances to close the achievement gap. But certainly we see progress, and we're very proud of our students.
So what would you want to say just to parents, I guess just taking all that in mind, just going forward, parents who have students in junior high, if they have concerns about their students going to Blount High School or another school that's
You know, it's what I tell parents, regardless of when they make a school choice, they need to visit the school, they need to talk with the administrators, they need to meet the teachers, they need to talk to families who have children in the school so they get the real picture of what's happening at the school. Is that right, Daisy? but I would say, go out, see the schools, get to know them, see what's happening, and look at other markers of what's happening. We'll be putting out our graduation rate. We will also be doing college and career readiness, and we will also be sharing the Scantron results as we move along. We want to be transparent, and we want to see what we can do to make sure that every student is achieving and moving forward every day.
So with this ACT Aspire, I know that you're talking about all the preparations for these new exams, for the Scantron and the ACT, you have all these classes. Were those not done for the ACT Aspire previously?
They were done. We did some of the same things to prepare for the ACT Aspire, but remember, going back to me saying even the U.S. Department of Ed questioned the alignment to what the state standards are, and the classroom instruction is based on those state standards. So you know, there's a gap there. There are gaps for a variety of reasons. So yes, you know, we did the same thing, and then what we do, we come back and we retool. We look at programs again. The state comes in and works in the schools and makes suggestions, and you just keep working to make sure that you're meeting the students' needs. And that's the exciting thing about seeing too, that when we get to the real multiple measures, the grad rate's up, and that's verified by the college and career readiness benchmarks they met. Because the next thing people say is, well, that was one measure, one moment in time over a 4-day period where you had 10th graders, not 9th, not 11th and 12th, but 10th graders taking a test that generated a score. And sure, people scored better throughout the state of Alabama, but we're tuned into that, and what I'd say is watch what happens this year.
Did that test score, I know like I'm from Connecticut and we took the SAT and that reflected on my college application.
Right.
Does this ACT Aspire impact how kids could get into college?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's just an academic measure of progress and taken in the truest light, like it should be taken. Any achievement test is important because we get that data, what we call disaggregate it. We pull it apart, we look for students' strengths and weaknesses, and we build upon that. What we have done with test scores is not the intention of what they should be. It's not what they should be used for, and that is to sort and grade schools. That's not the purpose of an achievement test. Tests are important. I always say, it's like going to the doctor. You go, the doctor tests, he gives medicine or whatever needs to be done. Sometimes it works and it's great. If not, you go back and you retest. That's the way achievement tests should be used. We got valuable data from the ACT Aspire, and we've used that. But that should not be the sole intent of what you're doing. And in Alabama, the Alabama Accountability Act, then there's scholarships and things that people can take advantage of. So these tests are being used in a lot of very critical ways. But going back to what you said, I would just say to every family, go and see the school. Thank you so much.